Okay, so it's currently the 5th of January 2026, and I thought I'd do a video about gold. A few people have asked me about gold, so this is my opinion. This is what I think is happening, but it's not financial advice, so do what you want, okay? We're all adults, take your own decisions. So this is on tradingview.com. Anyone can get a free account on tradingview.com. You can log in with your Google, your Facebook, your Apple, your Microsoft, whatever. You don't actually have to fill out any forms to get this. Just search for gold, okay? Um, my opinion is that it was pretty flat and then it's kind of looking exponential. We're on a 1 week view here, okay? So you can change your view here. You can change it to weeks, months, days, whatever you want, okay? Let's start drawing some pretty lines on this graph then, okay? So you can draw a line there between those two highs, okay? You could even, if you wanted to, you could draw a line from this kind of high there all the way down there. And here, I guess you could draw a line sort of in this zone here, more or less. So for me, since, where are we? Since 2020, since the summer of 2020, I see three distinct zones. If you'd put your money into gold and held it for 3 years, it would have done absolutely nothing for you. But okay, you might have been quite frustrated, you might have been tempted to sell there, but you should have kept it in hindsight because, you know, it's going to the moon. Right, let's switch to a day. Right, here we are. This is the daily graph now. What do I see here? I would draw a line there. I'd say, okay, gold tends to trade in that channel there. I would say here, you could say, well, it was a bit flat there, wasn't it? That was a bit flat. And then it kind of broke out from that zone there, and went up. You could even say on a smaller scale it was a bit flat there, and it broke out and went up. And I see the same thing happening there. I think there, that's a bit sort of flat. Believe it or not, it did actually go down. Look at that. If you'd bought there and you panic sold there, you'd have been down 10%. What do I see? What more things do I see? I see that this trend line here touches the trend line, touches the trend line, and it touches the trend line there. Okay? Much in the same way that back in the day, 2024 touched the trend line and touched the trend line. And probably there you could say if it had drawn the line correctly, it would have touched it there. So what's my advice, which is not advice because we're all adults and we should do what we think is correct. My non-financial advice is if it touches the line there, for example, or anywhere else in the future, I might be tempted to sell the gold that I have because that is as good as it gets. On the other hand, if it breaks down through this trend line, if it goes down there, that's probably quite a bad place to be in there. So I would consider selling to limit any losses. If it broke that trend line there, it's supposed to be an arrow, it's not a very good arrow. So if it broke down through this sort of supporting line here, anywhere along there, if it went below that, it might be time to sell, to be honest. And if it touched that trend line there, might be time to sell and take some profits and then see what happens. But that's the way I see gold. Sort of, it goes sideways and does not a lot, and then it sort of breaks out and goes crazy. So let's see what happens. I mean, maybe February something nice will happen there and I can sell. Maybe it'll break this line and then I'll have to cut my losses. I don't know. I mean, that's just the technical analysis. That's just where I see it. I'm not getting into Venezuela and China stockpiling gold and if the dollar is going to be replaced by gold reserves and all that stuff. I'm just saying, listen, that's the chart. That's the way I see it. That's how I'm going to react. I'm not going to panic. I'm not going to get euphoric. I'm just going to respect the rules of sell if it breaks the line sell, take some profits if it touches that line. Okay, hope that was helpful.